Hey, I'm Susan, and I'm studying to become a high school English teacher. But going to college in the United States is incredibly expensive, and I'm already $40,000 in debt. On a teacher salary, it's gonna take forever to pay it off. But luckily, I found a really weird job. I'm supposed to meet up with guys and just talk to them. Sometimes it's like a date, but mostly it's all about having an interesting conversation or going to the opera together. And no, I'm not going home with the guy afterward, it's just a date. Even though some guys want me to pretend that I'm their girlfriend and they expect me to laugh at their jokes, like I was completely in love with them. But recently, I met this one guy who wanted to see me every single weekend. And I decided to do a bit of cyberstalking. That's when I found out that he was married with 3 kids. Now I was seriously confused, and I wasn't sure if he was cheating with me on his wife. I mean, we were only talking to each other and eating at fine restaurants, but it kind of felt wrong. So the next time we saw each other, I asked him if his wife knew about us. He explained that he and his wife had fallen out of love a long time ago, and that they only stayed together for their kids. I wasn't sure if I believed him. But then, he asked me if I wanted to go on a trip with him to Paris. For some reason, that really creeped me out. Flying with a stranger to a different continent? No way. That's why I decided to not go on any more dates with him. Don't get me wrong, he was a nice guy, and he even worked as a doctor at a hospital. But he was also 35 years older than me, so no thank you. I know I have a really weird job, but it's not as bad as it sounds, even though I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. Because it could definitely happen that you meet some weirdo that will stalk you afterward. But so far, I was lucky and didn't have any bad experiences. It's just that I'm completely broke, and if I worked at Starbucks 8 hours a day, I would barely even make enough money to pay for rent. And how shall I find time to study while working a full-time job? A couple of my college friends even have to live in their cars because they can't afford to pay rent. They say it's really uncomfortable at night, and they're always worried that someone will smash their window and steal their stuff. I don't want to live like that. It's much easier for me to go on a fake date with some old guy, especially because the agency I work with always does a background check on the men I meet, which means that I don't have to be worried about meeting a criminal. The men I date sometimes pay me up to $200 just to talk to me for a few hours. I guess they really like me because I'm well-read and educated. I can talk about almost any topic, from politics to history. But of course, I haven't told my parents about my job. They are very conservative and super judgmental. If my dad found out I was going on dates with older men, he would probably disown me, or worse. He already thinks I'm a disappointment because I decided to become a high school teacher instead of a doctor. He says my kids will someday grow up in poverty and it's all my fault. But he isn't the perfect guy he thinks he is, because after he inherited $300,000 from his dad, he lost it all in a big investment scam. He wanted to become rich fast, and now he's as broke as before. And with those $300,000 he lost, I could have easily paid for my college tuition. But, instead, I have to work as a fake girlfriend and go on dates with 60-year-old men. I mean, please don't think that this is my dream job. I would much rather chill at home or go out with some of my friends. But I can't do that because my dad has never learned how to manage his money. All he can do is criticize his daughter for not being ambitious enough. Ugh, just thinking about my dad makes me angry. Maybe I'll send him a photo of me with some old guy that I'm on a date with, and then write into the caption, "My new boyfriend." I know that it would drive him crazy, and he definitely deserves it. Because last year, he and my mom divorced after she caught him having an affair with their maid. I couldn't believe it at first, because my dad had always preached about the sacred bond of marriage. The older I get, the more I realize that my dad is a complete hypocrite. He always forced us to go to church each Sunday. But now I realize that he never actually practiced what he preached. I wish I could simply stop caring about what my dad thinks of me. But it's not that easy. For some reason, I still think about him all the time and I still want to make him proud. But anyway, let me know in the comments if you could ever work as a fake girlfriend and go on dates with 60-year-old men.